CNN has released yet another Kevin McCarthy tape, and this one shows the House Minority Leader worrying that using the 25th Amendment against Donald Trump in the days after the Capitol riot wouldn't be quick enough to get the guy out of office. Let me read this from the CNN report. McCarthy asked an aide for a readout of a separate call. It's not clear exactly what call he is referring to. The aide responds, quote, "I think the options that have been cited by the Democrats so far are the 25th Amendment, which is not exactly an elegant solution here." McCarthy interjects to say, quote, "That takes too long too. It could go back to the House, right?" The aide responds, "Correct. If the president were to submit a letter overruling the cabinet and the vice president, 2/3 vote in the House and the Senate to overrule the president, so it's kind of an armful." McCarthy responds, "What the president did is atrocious and totally wrong." Atrocious and totally wrong. Now, what's interesting here is that, of course, McCarthy is only referring, as far as we know, to the events of January 6th, right? Speaking at the rally at the Ellipse and then the subsequent Capitol riot. As far as we know, he's not talking about all of Donald Trump's attempts to actually overthrow the results of the election, right? This is not referring, again, as far as we know, to all of the behind-the-scenes plots, all of the members of Congress meeting with Donald Trump and Mike Lindell and Rudy Giuliani about overturning those results, about seizing voting machines, about declaring a martial law. McCarthy thought the riot alone was bad enough and that unfortunately the 25th Amendment would just take too darn long to get this man out of office. And of course, when McCarthy actually had the opportunity to help get Trump out of office through the second impeachment, or at least, convict him, prevent him from coming back ever, he failed to do it. He could have gone in, whipped up the Republicans and said, yep, we've got to all be united on this. Not just in the House, but obviously in the Senate where conviction takes place. McCarthy could have had meetings with McConnell. McConnell could have come to an agreement and said, okay, I'll get my people, you get your people, we got a game. But they didn't do it. None of what McCarthy said on these tapes matters to the Democrats. That's the important distinction to make. Oh, it matters greatly, but not to anything the Democrats need. What matters is how the Republicans react to this. This, by far, is one of the worst McCarthy tapes that we have received so far. And, of course, it came from the same New York Times authors who have that book. So I think we can expect more. I think that's, a relatively reasonable assumption to make at this point. But Republicans and their reaction to Kevin McCarthy is what's going to be interesting to watch. These tapes dropped late in the afternoon on Wednesday. It's now Thursday. Republicans are starting to react, respond. Trump's response, I imagine, is going to be a full-throated kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Just absolute disowning of Kevin McCarthy. That's what I predict Trump will do, because this time it was directly about him, directly about his behavior that was, as McCarthy says, atrocious and wrong.
This is Hattie. Hattie wants to know why you have not subscribed to our channel. You obviously like our videos, so do us a favor and subscribe.